Welcome back to the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise, where today we head back on home as we host the Minnesota Vikings, a team in real life that's done mostly well out the gate, but they're not the same team. In fact, they're nearly the exact opposite, having just 2 wins to 6 losses. And perhaps the reason for such a difference from real life to here with Coach Boston is the fact that this team really is different. Starting at quarterback is the rookie in J.J. McCarthy. For some reason, despite having injuries turned on to start and pre-existing, McCarthy is not injured. Darnold will be on the bench as the rookie starts at QB1. At running back, they do have the top 2 running backs correct, but no Cam Akers. And that stretches even on over to the receiving group, where you do have Jefferson, Addison, Sherfield, and Powell. But they do have a new receiver in Jamal Agnew, who will be playing in the slot. At tight end, Hawkinson has returned from his injury, so we'll have to deal with him across the middle. And Christian Darrisaw also will be healthy in real life, out for this season with an MCL-ACL injury. He's a great addition back for this group. In fact, the offensive line for the most part is about the same, just with the slight difference of Brandel being a backup rather than the starting guard. But the defensive line is almost entirely new here for this Vikings, with Morgan Fox getting the start at left end. Right end, you got Samson Ebukam, and then down the middle, still with Harrison Phillips. Off ball, Dallas Turner, an 81 overall, despite, and again, real life only seeing 7 snaps the last 2 games combined. On his opposite side, Andrew Van Ginkel, formerly of the Miami Dolphins and currently outscoring all the players outside the quarterback from the Dolphins. Jonathan Gernard backs up those 2. Off ball, you got Cashman and Pace, and then you have a cornerback group that yet again is different. Patrick Peterson returns to the Vikings. We'll see him on one side, Murphy Jr. on the other. Blackman may be getting the start in the slot. They also have Shaquille Griffin, Caleb Evans, and Andrew Booth Jr. No Stephon Gilmore. You'll also notice when we get to the safety group that there is no Josh Metellus. They cut him at some point. He's now with the Giants. Now, as for our own Coach Boston, he has made some changes himself heading into this next game. Starting at safety, we have our first switch. Edmonds has been benched in favor for Antonio Johnson, the second-year free safety, but he feels like he has the potential to play strong safety in his scheme with 88 speed and a favor towards man coverage. Hit power is there, there's some good tackling. We'll see how the block shedding works and if he could really be a threat in this position. Additionally, we have Jarian Jones, another young player, hidden dev rookie, taking over that slot corner spot from Darnell Savage. Savage has played well in that spot, but we gotta see what these young guys can really do. And with no snaps to this point of the season, we've gotta find out what that dev trait is for Jones. We know he needs to work on that zone coverage. Press is a long ways from being able to play on the outside. Tackling is at a 55. We're gonna have to see how well he wraps up both he and the safety. As we're set to get this battle now underway, it will be Reichert to boot us off. Set back to return is Devin Duvernay. He catches the ball about the 10-yard line, looking for a lane down the middle, cuts back to the right-hand side, finds some open space before Booth drags him down at about the 45. The offense with Trevor Lawrence can head out from there. Now, Lawrence definitely had his struggles last time out. We'll look to see what changes Coach Boston made to try to help him out. As they start with a run, Etienne immediately looks for that cut lane. A flag comes down mere seconds after the snap, and it was holding off the bat. Look at the starter over at left tackle, Robinson, with that one. 1st and 19, it's the I form here for Lawrence as they go play action. Letting things develop a little bit and finding DeGuara. It's a first down, but again, there is a flag back in the backfield. And for the second straight play to open up this game, it's another holding call. That's going to make it 1st and 29 for the Jaguars as they come out with a spread empty look. They go to the tight end here, tight end screen for Evan Ingram, and he'll pick up about 6. But considering how much further down the field you could be right now, it's just not good for the Jaguars starting off. Again, their own mistakes being the cause of it. Lawrence throws for Gabe Davis. He can't hold on. There was some tight coverage. It leaves 3rd and 23. They come out under center. 2 receivers on the right-hand side. A hard count. That'll be an extra 5 as Dallas Turner jumps along that left side of the line. Still leaving a 3rd and long. 18. We need the opposite 45. They stick with the same look. They go to the right-hand side and overthrow Christian Kirk. He might have had an angle for it. Instead, it'll be a punt. And ultimately for Lawrence, it's yet another opportunity that he just purely misses. But this now gives us an opportunity to look at the rookie quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. And he's sacked play 1. Walker gets back there, a loss of 7. So both teams going backwards to start their drive. 2nd and 17 back at the 22. They then hand it off Jones down the middle, and he's going to plow forward, making it 3rd and 4 at the 34. An absolutely bruising run in this Jaguars front 7. Definitely not one of the biggest down the middle. 3rd and 4, and completely diving, missing, but Mason Smith hits home. We pick up 2 sacks, both of which go for big losses, and we'll force our own punt. But as Lawrence heads out onto the field, you can tell that seat getting a little bit hotter with each and every miss. Starting here at the 36, also need that offensive line to not hold anymore. We get a run down the middle, gain of 2 and no holding calls. I'm sure Boston had a thing or two to say over on the sideline while the defense was out. At the 38, Lawrence dropping back. He's got a target downfield and he misses it. A 10-yard throw. Couldn't even make it. I'm sure there are some who would be calling for Mac Jones to come in at quarterback. I mean, you brought him in here. Do they give him an opportunity? I'm sure we will find out as Lawrence looks to scramble here and slides down in front of pace. He picks up the 1st. That's at least one threat that we know we have with Lawrence is that scrambling ability. Trips look here to the left-hand side. Off coverage. They got a dump off here, finding Kirk this time and taking a couple hits. He picks up 7. Last time Lawrence went his way with the 3rd down, missing it. We got a 2nd and 3 here, just by midfield. Etienne down the middle. He maybe picks up 1 or 2. He's kind of been the bright spot of this Jaguars team so far this year. He's not in the backfield to start here. 4 set to that right-hand side. Lawrence back in the pocket. Trying to buy some time, throws it towards the sideline, but just out of bounds at the 44. And Boston will keep him out there. 4th and 1. It's a weak side dive, though Etienne cuts it right down the middle, shakes one. He's got the 1st down at the 36. Vikings have obviously overhauled their defensive line. Perhaps that's a reason why. Tank Bigsby checks in here. We've got motion, as there's 2 fullbacks in the backfield. They go with the power look and trucking the air. Bigsby maybe gains 1, half a yard. I think he was expecting the linebacker and pace to fill the hole. He didn't quite do it, so 2nd and 9. They keep it that same look, flipping the strong side. More motion here from Brenton Strange. As it's going to be play action. Coming across, he finds Christian Kirk. He's got some open space, gets the juke, and he's down at about the 10-yard line. I'm sure Kirk glad that his quarterback put it on him that time. Though they do mark him just outside the 10, so 1st and 10, not 1st and goal. Etienne checks back in for 1. Ibuka meets him at the line. So 2nd and 9 at the 9. Bunch goes to the right-hand side, Kirk to the left. Lawrence has his guy chopped out, and Kirk slipped, protected himself. Honestly, kind of hard to tell. But what isn't hard to tell is the fact that they are just down at the 3, not inside the end zone. A heavy set for Lawrence. Dropping back, he throws, and Josiah DeGuara gets the catch, tied end 3. We've actually seen a good, healthy amount of him since Coach Boston took over, using a lot of those tight ends. And that gives the Jacksonville Jaguars a 7-0 lead. As we end the 1st quarter, we head into the 2nd. Vikings out on offense. They start at the 31. It's a strong I formation, going with that power run, and Oluokun meets Jones in the gap, loss of 1. We didn't really get to see much from the linebackers in the last game. Eagles' scheme just a little bit too good for what we had drawn up. Nice to see him making plays here early on, and a big sack again is Walker. His second on the day. He gets around right tackle in Brian O'Neill. And that alone, very impressive. Vikings do have their bookend tackles. It's the interior that they need to work on. 3rd and 22, JJ, as he's just got a guy open across the middle. They leave that soft coverage, get the quick tackle, and that'll be another punt forced. And a battle of two of the bottom teams in the NFL. It's been some big defensive plays. Our offense finally got the score last time. Can they build upon it? They fire across the middle. Kirk, he's got it. Close to the first down. They'll mark him inches shy. At the 34, a heavy group here as they go. ETN looking for that slip back lane. He'll rumble for a gain of 7. And that play will definitely help out the average, now up to 4 yards per carry. They continue with heavy sets here at the 42. Play action across the middle and knocked away from Davis. Perhaps if you deliver that ball a little bit quicker or even put a little bit more out in front, you might have something there. 2nd and 10. Strange in motion as they're going to go with the play action. Rolling to the right-hand side, he goes for Strange, who can't keep himself in bounds. Goes out with a gain of 7. Definitely seeing a heavier emphasis on the passing game today, trying to attack a weaker secondary group of the Vikings. Open receiver, caught. Christian Kirk again, taking those drag routes today. He takes them all the way down to the 36. Coach Boston talked about having a more spread college-style look, but tweaking that to further match his team. He's kind of gone with more of just getting his guys into open space. Jump ball is dropped, plus a flag is down. It looks like this one would be coming back either way. But that does make it now at least 3 of the starting 5 offensive linemen being called for holding. That's at least one thing this defensive front is doing. Plus picking up the TFL there. Leaves the Jags now back at the 46 with a 2nd and 21. 2 go to the left-hand side, Duvernay to the right-hand side. Blitz brought to that same side. And throwing it downfield for Duvernay, overthrown. Lawrence very much still struggling with his accuracies. 3rd and forever here with an empty set. Waiting and then throwing into the turf as no one broke open. Rodriguez with the pressure, and it forces a punt. Again, McCarthy now lead his boys down the field and level this game up. Jaguars defense has been able to lock him down so far. They start down the middle. Jones, he will pick up 1. Both teams' front sevens have been flying around today. We haven't seen anything from Jets or T-Hock so far. Play action to Jones. They've got Jay Jet sitting, but instead trying to scramble is McCarthy, and he's going to lose some yardage there as Josh Hines Allen gets the stop. Great contain. 3rd and 11, extra movement. No penalties thrown, everyone back on side. Walker with pressure and nearly picked off by Campbell. Both the edge rushers combine. Be another punt forced. A defensive spectacle so far, and little usage for ETN. Will they look to go his way more as this game moves along? Well, he's got some space here. Not going to be able to get by Harrison Smith. Slows him down long enough for Van Ginkel to help clean it up. But of course, we can't overlook the fact that we still had a nice big gain there. Just about to midfield as the 2-minute warning hits. A spread look here. Trying to let things develop, coming across and throwing it up, and not able to bring it in is Evan Ingram. Pass ends up arriving a little too high for him to safely bring it in. 2nd and 10 with 2 to the right-hand side, a tight end each side of the line. And everyone covered up. Lawrence, he looks to scramble back towards the middle, utilizes those blocks, and shakes off 1. Maybe picks up an extra 1 with it at the 37. Well, his passing might be a little bit off. That running is surely not. Hard count, no one jumps. Lawrence, inside 10 left here on the play clock. Letting this one roll to the right-hand side. He goes for Davis, who gets lit up. But holding on to it, it's a 1st and 10 inside the red zone. Looks like Coach Boston trying to work Lawrence more outside of the pocket. Keep that mobility well at hand. As he goes Evan Ingram here, who slips by one and jukes himself out of bounds. Looked like he tried to avoid the defender, slide inside the pylon. They're going to say he steps out prior to that ball crossing the plane. Either way, it was a close play. A heavy set here, and Rodriguez eats it up. Timeout being called there with 27 seconds left. And Boston will spread them out here. 2 to the left-hand side, 1 to the right. And letting this one develop again. He's got his guy, and the rookie brings it in. Thomas Jr. with yet another touchdown on the season. Lawrence left it high for his tall receiver to bring it down. Well, that will be good enough to send us into halftime. Well, it's still a close game here, 14-0. That could instantly disappear. Vikings have not been able to do much offensively. Meanwhile, our offense has found a couple drives to move it downfield and take advantage. As we take a pause from our game, look around the league. The 4-5 Colts currently on top, heading towards halftime on the 8-1 Buffalo Bills, 10-7. As for the second game update, a fellow team down here in Florida, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're currently losing to San Fran, 17-7. Well, the 49ers haven't had a great season, 4-4, Buccaneers 3-6. But finally, heading back up north, Chicago Bears hosting the Patriots. Another close game, 13-7, Bears on top. As we get back to our game, big kickoff return for the Minnesota Vikings to start the half, has them starting in plus side at the 46, their best position so far today, as Jones can't even get by the first defender who's being blocked. Ham had Lloyd well wrapped up, but Lloyd ended up wrapping up Jones. 2nd and 9, they will look to pass the ball and nearly intercepted. That is Johnson, the safety. Again, Coach Boston thought he had the skill set to play out at the strong spot. Nearly came up with a huge play in his first start. Downfield, though, Campbell off of his hands as well. He was looking for Jordan Addison. Penalty on the play is holding. We could go ahead and decline. And that will go ahead and send out our offense as we force yet another punt, starting back at the 12-yard line. Handing this one off ETN. Not a good block from Ingram, but the speed of ETN counters it as he is at the 30, 20, 10, 5. No one's gonna catch him. Diving in, ETN goes 88 yards on the one-play touchdown drive. And that's just a real dagger to the Vikings, who were hoping to bounce back to start this second half. Now down 21-0. They go to their offense, and they still are struggling to get by the line of scrimmage. To this point, the Vikings have been held to -4 total yards. That is how bad they have been. As they look to get the screen out here, they're going to have positive yards after this one. Jones slips a tackle, and he'll end up picking up 11 and the first. Quick math is now a total of 7 offensive yards today, thanks to that screen. Though T-Hock, he gets his first catch, nearly splitting the safeties. They're down to the 37. Perhaps the Vikings finally found their offensive adjustments here. As they go back to Jones, safety comes down, Cisco, and crashes him out. Looks like Jones injures his hip on the play, and he's going to have to head to the sideline and see if he could come back into this game. That was a massive collision. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. Pass across to the middle, and Addison holds on to it. That might have been a one-handed catch. Oh, that could have also been because it was a bobble at first. Either way, he holds on to it going across the middle. Now play action. McCarthy still rolling, under duress, and dropped by 2 Jaguar defenders. Jarian Jones, as well as Lloyd, get that sack. 2nd and 12. I form to go the weak side stretch as Ty Chandler checks in, and he's going to gash us for a gain of 11. Perhaps if the Vikings can get a little bit more consistency going with that running game, they might find their way down a little bit more. Don't jump off sides. Lewican back on track. Good thing they didn't get him on unabated to the quarterback. Drop for a loss of 1. Several defenders get involved. It's now 4th and 2 at the 18. Lewican got there first, but it's Jerry Jones, that slot corner, who actually cleans it up. So the tackling looking actually pretty decent. As the Vikings finally crack that scoreboard, they get a field goal with Reichert, and it's 21-3. Well, now the Jaguars offense can hit the field. They really haven't been out there much at all this half. Just that big run from Etienne, starting here now at the 27. Looking like they're going to set up the screen. Etienne, he picks up 1 block, tries to slip back under the second. He gets the first down, about a gain of 11. And after few usage early on in this game, Etienne getting well involved now. As they go with the passing play out to Etienne, well wrapped up on the outside, Patrick Peterson. Looked like Lawrence just took the first opening that he saw, and it was to that running back. Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Etienne down the middle will pick up about 2 of those lost yardage. That still leaves us well behind the chains here. 3rd and 11. And setting up the screen yet again. Get a couple blockers out there. Etienne slips 1. Not going to get by the following defenders. 4th and 6. Still on your own side. It will be a punt. But that is after an injury. Actually, Etienne gets up a little bit slow on the play. So that's now a running back from both sides who will exit this one. At least for now, we'll look for updates as we move along. Vikings out there, and McCarthy, he throws it to the turf. He definitely had an open receiver, just didn't put enough mustard on it. 2nd and 10 here at the 15. Chandler, the running back for the Vikings, as Jones injured earlier. He finally finds Jay Jets. That JJ to JJ connection gives them a first down up at the 34. It's the first catch for Jefferson on the day as they go out to T-Hock, and he brings it in, gain of 5. Our own number 5 nearly knocked that one away. About 20 seconds left in the quarter. Bringing the blitz here. Walker just trucks through the intended block of Ty Chandler. He picks up his 3rd sack of the day. As we head into the 4th quarter now, I'm sure Coach Barrington has to be elated by the performance of his edge rusher. Last week, they didn't have much rush. This week, it's come ready to play. 3rd and 16 as we start the 4th quarter. Good blocking this time. McCarthy, he's going to step up and slide down. That sends Hines Allen flying. But they will keep the offense out there. 4th and 5, trying to find their way back into this game. Bunch to the right-hand side. McCarthy, he's got time to scramble. He gets by a Lewican, and he's picked up the first down just shy of the midfield line. McCarthy wasn't a huge scrambler during his last season at Michigan, though definitely showed promise to do so. Helping out his Vikings offense here with it. Pass to the outside, and Campbell drops a 2nd pick. Both times McCarthy targeting Jordan Addison, the outside, doing a great job in coverage. Of course, Ringo in his 2nd game here with his new team. Lewican jarring that one away from T-Hock. Again, keeping these real top-end threats of the Vikings to minimal usage today. Really got to be happy as Eric Armstead gets back there with the pressure. That leaves the Vikings yet again, leaving their offense out here on 4th down. 4th and 10 at the midfield line. Trips to the right-hand side. Open receiver across the field, but they go downfield, and the 2 covermen combine to knock it away, but they honestly knocked it away from each other. We just can't get that pick today. But it's hard to complain when you're up 21-0. Your defense just forced a turnover on downs. You got about 6.5 minutes left. The offense out there for the Jags. Tank Bigsby, the running back. He finds a lane, but he kind of gets caught from behind by Cashman. But again, as we were just talking about, can't complain. A gain of 5 on 1st down is solid. Looks like Etienne not returning, at least at this point. Bigsby down the middle. He finds the gap, and he's got another 1st down for the Jags. Well, this is a great opportunity for Boston to see what he has in his backup running back. It's the pistol set, strong eye, and a gain of 1. Up to this point, haven't seen much from Bigsby. 2nd and 9, keeping that same look. It's RPO, handing it off to him, and he'll maybe pick up another 1 if we're lucky. 2. And as the marking comes in, it's going to be 3rd and 8 at the 33. Kirk, the only receiver out there. as they will look to pass the ball. They get this one out to Strange, picks up a block from Tank, but not enough to turn the corner as Brenton Strange. Blackman forces him out, and we'll send out Little here to tack on a late game field goal. And it's going right down the middle, 24-3. And with that, the Vikings back down by 3 touchdowns. With 3:39 left, they've got to make some big plays happen very quickly as Campbell finally gives up a catch to Addison. They ran that quick slant, pressing along the way, just didn't quite make a play on it. Back to the outside and a third drop from Campbell. It would appear that third time is not the charm for that interception. 2nd and 10, bringing the blitz. Walker forces him into Hines Allen. McCarthy throws it away. Well, this Jags front 7 has done a fantastic job today in creating that pressure up front. For again, what is a pretty decent group, at least at the tackle spot. Jefferson with a nice catch under pressure. Ends up taking a hit from Cisco. Holding on, they're now at the 41. Under pressure again, and picked off Jarian Jones, the rookie. In his first start, he gets that interception. Those 2 rookies, well, I guess the safety is actually a second-year player, but the 2 guys getting their starts, they've done a fantastic job today. I'm also going to toss Ringo in there as he's only in his 2nd start with us since trading for him. But I imagine Coach Boston has a party set up in that locker room after such a dominant performance today. Bigsby still out there at running back. Etienne's day is done. We'll try to catch up with Coach Boston at the end to see if there is any more information on that injury, if it's a long-lasting one or not. But for now, utilizing the time left in this game to really hand the ball off to Bigsby, see what he can do and see what this offensive line can do. At the 42, it's the I form. They go back to Bigsby. Patient running down the middle. He picks up another gain of 4. In a way, he kind of is the great value version of Etienne. He comes with his own little burst of speed. That athletic power combo down the middle, leaving him out half an inch needed. There they mark it 3rd and inches. And it looks like they go fullback dive. Brenton Strange handing it off to the tight end. He picks up that first. And with that, he seals the game. A dominant defensive performance today for the Jaguars. Offense, they missed on a few marks here and there, but a 24-3 win over the Minnesota Vikings at home. That's got to feel good for Coach Boston and this Jaguars team coming off that tough game against the Eagles. At the end, Vikings total 121 yards. Meanwhile, the Jags 327. Lawrence completed 65% of his throws, 139 for 2 touchdowns. Etienne averaged 12 yards with that big 88-yard touchdown run. And Trayvon Walker, 5 TFLs and 3 sacks. And another shout out to Jarian Jones with his first pick of his career. And grabbing Coach Boston before he could hit the locker room, celebrating that win, he did update us. Travis Etienne is going to be just fine. He'd had a tweak, they held him out to just ensure his health heading into next game. And that next one will be a real tough test as we go on the road to Detroit to face the Lions. And we're going to need our defense to play just as good as they did today, as the Lions have an 87 overall offense. Though statistically, their offense hasn't looked all that great. 11th in points per game, 15th in passing yards, only 31st in rushing. So that, to me, seems like they've either had some big injuries or they're just not properly utilizing their players. Defensively, though, they've been phenomenal. 4th in points allowed, 1st in offensive passing yards given up, and 8th in rushing yards. So it's going to be a real test for Coach Boston next time to come up with a game plan to match this team. And potentially some of the reason for the lack of run game has maybe been the injury to Frank Ragnow. A PCL sprain, that might be a lingering issue. He will be out for our game that is already locked in. But who's not going to be out is Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, and of course over on the defensive side, Aiden Hutchinson. Now we didn't face any dominant rushers today, so our offensive line actually looked pretty good. Will they be able to do the same? And will our defensive line be able to continually put in that pressure? Again, a really good game today from Walker. But now we're going up against Zeitler and Sewell. Ragnar obviously would be a really good addition to that, but he's going to be out. You can even put in Decker there. He's an 86. This is a very good offensive line here. And for Jared Goff, I'm sure he's really appreciating that. They do have Gibbs. He's obviously not having a great year. That 1-2 punch with him and Montgomery, we're going to have to slow that down. And we're going to have to hope that our young DB group is going to perform against Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, as long as he isn't suspended, and Donovan Peoples-Jones. And then the linebackers and safeties, we got to make sure that Sam Laporta is not tearing us apart, or Noah Fant. They've got a 1-2 punch even at tight end. So to make sure you don't miss how this Jaguars team is able to do against the Lions, well, you got to make sure you stick around. Hit that bell icon on the bottom right, or scroll down to the sub button and definitely tap that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series, all Madden content on this channel every single Tuesday and Thursday. College Football 25, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that'll be the same for any college footballs until we eventually maybe change things up. But a lot of content coming your way with a big match up next time. Can we upset the 8-1 Detroit Lions in Detroit?